Well, yeah, this is in your hands. This session is really in your hands. And I pray. Please, please. Like I said, this is a really good opportunity. And are we ready, Ryan? Are we ready? Okay, so our keynote presenter, Senator John Edwards. Thank you. I'm going to change the screen for you here in a second. So.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. I'm very pleased to be here with all of you. And I want to thank Chris and Ponzi and for putting this conference together. You know, when I first heard, I got an inaccurate report of what I was supposed to do here. And I'm glad it was inaccurate because what I was told was I was supposed to come here and give a keynote speech. And I said, what is this, a joke? I mean, I'm going to give a speech to people who are actually out there doing it on the cutting edge. It's absurd. So I came here primarily to learn from you. And I've already, you should know, learned a great deal over the course of the last year or so. Elizabeth and I both have had, my wife Elizabeth and I, have both had a wonderful time doing video blogging, podcasting, blogging. It's been a great experience for us, simply because I think this is where America's going, not just in politics, but in every possible way. I mean, it's the way to bring the whole country in to not listening to speeches and listening to people talk, but actually engaging so that we have a real and meaningful conversation. And just so to put this in a frame for you about how I think about this, we were actually in Palo Alto a few weeks ago and met with a smaller group. In fact, I think at least a couple of the people that we met with are in this audience today, to talk about, mostly for me to listen, to what's happening, where we need to go, how we make this technology the most beneficial it can be for our country, for everybody, not just for a few. And I learned a lot. For example, in that meeting, I learned a great deal about net neutrality, which I knew a little about, but not much. And I was asked to come out and be very strong on this issue, which I have done since that time. If we want this this technology to be used by everybody and not just by people who have money to pay to have an advantage, well, obviously we need net neutrality. So I'm a very strong supporter of it. But I want to say to all of you, what you're doing is enormously important. I think it's important for the country. I think it's important in my own selfish way to the political process, because I think it is the changes that you are creating and the changes that I'm trying to keep up with have the potential to literally change our democracy and to get more people engaged in a more serious way, in a more substantive way than they have ever been in the past. Instead of having leaders and candidates and people who want to help lead this country speak at people. I mean, there's actually the real potential, because it's occurring, for a meaningful dialogue, an engagement that just hasn't existed before. And so I think what you're doing is, I really believe this, what you're doing is enormously important. And what I hope we can talk about today is where are we today, where are we going, how do we manage, or whether we should manage, how we go forward, how should we be doing this as a nation, and how do we do it in a way that's most beneficial to everybody in our country. So that's the dialogue I hope we can have today. My speech is over. What I want to do is engage you in a conversation. I really meant what I said. I wasn't just being nice. I'm here primarily to learn, because every single one of you know more about this than I do. But I want to come away, as I did in the meeting we had in Palo Alto, it was enormously valuable to me. And I want to come away knowing more than I knew when I walked in the door. And I want myself, on a more selfish level, to know enough to make sure that I'm taking advantage of every conceivable technology that's out there.